What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, back to the PVG channel. I know I ain't posted here in a minute. It's been like I think about a week, 2 weeks, but I've been streaming actually over on Twitch and Kick. So I'm gonna leave the link to those in the description. Y'all can check that out. If y'all can check that out, that would mean a lot to me. I don't think I left it in the other videos. I gotta start leaving that. But yeah, I'm back on YouTube. I figured this was a good video to get back to the reactions with, because it's a controversial topic. Did Westbrook fall off, or is he still that consistent player that we know back when he was on OKC? So I'm not gonna talk too much about the streaming. We back on YouTube. We locked in on YouTube right now. But my take on this whole Russell Westbrook thing is, I think that people are too quick to say that somebody fell off. I think that just because a player, like in basketball terms, I think that just because a player had a bad season or a bad game, that doesn't immediately mean that they fell off. And I think that people are too quick to say somebody fall off when it comes to anything, not just sports, like fucking video games, movie franchises. I feel like people are just like, if there's a couple bad movies, people are like, yeah, that shit fell off. But it's like, bro, not everything is gonna be 10 out of 10. But I get it. People, they see, and a lot of it is social media. I think that people really like to highlight Westbrook's I guess you could call them like fails or his L's or whatever. He misses a shot bad, or he has a bad turnover. That shit gonna be all over Instagram. But he dunks on somebody, you may not see that shit as much, because it's not gonna get as much views. It's not gonna get as much likes. I get it, but I don't think that means that he fell off. I think that he's not playing at an MVP level anymore, but that doesn't mean that he fell off. Right? I still think that he's putting up good numbers. I think that his last season with the Clippers was pretty good, even when he was on the Lakers. I don't think that he was playing bad. One, I think that he just didn't fit into the system, and two, he was still putting up good numbers. And I don't think that all of the losses were on him. A lot of people were trying to use him as like a scapegoat when the Lakers were losing, or they were on a losing streak. They were just highlighting his turnovers and his air balls, and they're saying that he was a problem. But if you watch the games, it wasn't just him. It really wasn't just him. It was like a lot. I'm not gonna call anybody out, but a lot of players on the team were messing up, and they were just using Westbrook as a scapegoat. So I don't really think that he fell off. I just think he's not playing at MVP level. I want to see what they say in this video. I'm interested to see their take. Hopefully it's not like too biased. Hopefully we get to see some like stats and numbers. But let's see what they're talking about.
This is the beginning of the end for Russell Westbrook. It's just no other way to look at it.
Hold up, let me try to change this quality.
For Russell Westbrook. It's just no other way to look at it.
Listen, does anybody actually know what happened to Russell Westbrook? Because I feel like I was just watching him on the Oklahoma City Thunder, dominating every single game, getting a triple-double almost every single game. And then it feels like overnight he's become the laughing stock of the NBA. Nobody wants Westbrook on their team. He's throwing up bricks.
I'm going to say one thing right off the bat. I'm not going to pause it too much, but I don't think it was overnight either. I don't think it was overnight. I think that he got to the Lakers. He couldn't figure out this. I don't want to say he couldn't figure it out, but I feel like, when you're on a new team surrounded by new players, it's hard to adapt and adjust. So I think that at the beginning, this is my take, I think that at the beginning of the season, I think that he had trouble figuring it out, and social media, everybody calling him Westbrook and just sharing, reposting, retweeting all these Westbrook turnovers and air balls and all that shit. I think that kind of got to him, and it got in his head a little bit. And I think it was just like, one thing leads to another. Like, I think it's called like the snowball effect. The shit just keeps getting bigger and bigger. He keeps seeing this stuff all over social media. It keeps getting into his head. And it's just like a constant cycle. You feel me? I think it just got worse as time went on. So I think it was more like a confidence thing. Even if it was like subconsciously, I think it was a confidence thing. But I don't think it came overnight. I think it was maybe like in the beginning of the season it kind of started, and then as people kept pushing that narrative, it just kept getting to him.
That aren't even hitting the rim. I mean, it's just a disaster. But to understand the entire rise and fall of Russell Westbrook, we have to start at the beginning. So coming
we
into
starting
the draft,
all the way at the
Westbrook
beginning.
was a highly touted
Alright, this is a fire video. We starting all the way at the beginning, back when he was in college. I like this.
prospect. He was part of a very successful UCLA team that also featured Kevin Love, Darren Collison, and Luke Mbah-a-Moute. Despite being on a roster that featured
I didn't know that.
3 other NBA caliber players, Russ still had an enormous impact on the team and was arguably their top player. In his second and final season with the Bruins, he averaged 12.7 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game on
Solid
shooting
numbers.
splits of 46.5% from the field, 33.8% from 3, and 71.3% from the free throw line. Now, trust me,
It's not a great free throw
people were
percentage.
recognizing that Russell had some talent. He was recognized
Those are good
as
numbers,
an NCAA
other than
All-Region
that.
player, member of the All-Pac-10 team, the All-Pac-10 tourney team, the Pac-12 All-Defensive team, and the Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year.
That nigga
He
was
had the
going
build
crazy.
of a combo guard and was the complete package. Along with this, he had elite athleticism and was able to jump out of the gym, as you've seen, probably 1 or 2 Westbrook dunks in your day. His player comparison coming
Way
into
more
the
than 1 or
draft
2.
was Rajon Rondo, who at the time was an emerging young talent on the Boston Celtics. But if you ask me, those are 2 completely different players, and we've seen it play out differently throughout their respective careers. The Oklahoma City Thunder selected him with the 4th overall pick of the 2008 draft, only being selected behind Derrick Rose, Michael Beasley, and O.J. Mayo. They hoped for him to be a perfect running mate for emerging star Kevin Durant, who won the Rookie of the Year award in the previous year. As we now know, they hit the nail right on the head with this pick. So
Oklahoma
once
City.
Westbrook landed himself in Oklahoma City, he had a solid rookie season with the Thunder. However, there was some clear room for improvement. Although he began the season coming off the bench, he would work his way into the starting role nearly a quarter of the way through the season. He put up averages of 15.3 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 5.3 assists per game. While these were very solid stats for a rookie
Yeah.
who would efficiently, he
As
had
a
what would
rookie,
go on
too.
to be a career low in field goal percentage of 39.8% and a rough 27.1 three-point percentage.
Yeah,
Despite this, he
not
would finish
good
in
enough.
4th place in the Rookie of the Year voting, just behind Derrick Rose, O.J. Mayo, and Brook Lopez. He would follow up his rookie season with solid upticks to his averages, though. With a bigger role on the team, he was proving to be a very solid second option on this emerging young team. In his second season, the Thunder would make their very first playoff appearance in Westbrook's career. Although they were bounced in the first round, they pushed the Kobe Bryant-led Los Angeles Lakers to a 6-game series. Russ really came into his own in this series, averaging 20.5 points, 6.0 rebounds, and 6.0 assists per game. Along with this, he shot lights out, finishing the series at 47.3% from the field, 41.7% from 3, and 84.2%
He was
from the
going
line.
crazy.
Although they fell short in the first
Confidence
round, this
was high.
still a very promising sign for such a young core.
Mama
Then
Durant.
we get into the 2010 and 2011 season. Westbrook averaged over 20 points for the first time in his career on what were the best field goal,
That's tough.
three-point, and free throw shooting splits of his entire career as well. He made his first All-Star appearance at the age of 22.
Damn, that nigga.
And the
Damn.
Thunder would make a deep playoff run this year.
I'm not gonna
They
go
took
back.
down the Denver Nuggets
That was a
in 5
nice
games in the
dunk.
first round, and then the Memphis Grizzlies in the Western Conference semifinals in 6 games. However, they would be taken down by the eventual championship-winning Dallas Mavericks in 5 games in the Western Conference
Yeah, they were
finals.
really good that
The
year.
following season would be when Russ would see the most team success of his entire career so far. Along with this, he also had a great season as an individual. He was once again named an All-Star, averaging 23.6 points, 4.6 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game. The young Thunder team ended up knocking out the Dallas Mavericks, Los Angeles Lakers, and the San Antonio Spurs through the gauntlet that was the Western Conference at this time. After taking Game 1 against LeBron James and the Miami Heat, many believe that the Thunder may be able to pull off what would have been an enormous upset. However, they would lose the following 4 consecutive games.
That was a really good series. I might actually react to some of those games. I want to react to more throwback NBA games. But definitely, if I do that, I'm definitely going to react to that series. That series was amazing. They were going crazy
in this playoff run. However, he still played an enormous role in what would be the only finals appearance thus far in his career. In the next 3 seasons, the Thunder would sadly fall short of their ultimate goal of winning a finals with a team built around Russ and KD. Westbrook would miss some time in both the 2013 and 14 season and 2014 and 15 seasons due to injuries. Despite this, he still made All-Star appearances in 2 of those 3 seasons and would average 24.7 points, 7.1 rebounds, 8.9 assists, and 2.0 steals per game over the stretch. After blowing a 3-1 lead to the 73-9 Golden
Very
State
consistent
Warriors,
numbers.
it would be the final straw for Durant, and he would leave the Thunder in free agency, leaving Russ to fend for himself.
Emerging as an MVP.
2016-17 season would be personified by Westbrook's perceived response to Durant's signing when he posted a video singing along to Do What I Want by Lil Uzi Vert. Being the number 1 option for the first time in his career allowed Russ to play the game that he wanted to play, and it culminated in arguably the best individual season that the league has ever seen. He led the
I wouldn't say it's the best individual season. I may be a little biased, but I feel like there are definitely. I feel like Kobe's had better seasons. LeBron has better seasons. Steph, but that season was legendary though. When he got the triple double thing, I think he got like, what was it, like 50 triple doubles in one season or some crazy shit like that. That was a crazy record to beat. So definitely props to him though. Like that was definitely his best season. That might have been the best individual season on Oklahoma City Thunder team history. I'll say that.
Points with 31.6 points per game, and he would be the first player to average a triple-double over the course of an entire season since Oscar Robinson. He would somehow find another gear in the playoffs and average 37.4 points, 11.6 rebounds, 10.8 assists, and 2.4 steals per game.
He was going
However,
fucking stupid,
they would be
bro.
bounced from the playoffs in the first round in 5 games by the Houston Rockets. In the offseason, the Thunder would make a blockbuster trade that landed the team Paul George. However, the duo would never really find chemistry when it mattered and never made it past the first round of the playoffs. In the offseason, Paul George would end up...
That was definitely wasted potential, bro. I feel like they could have definitely worked better together. I don't know what the problem was. I didn't watch many Thunder games when they were together, but I definitely wish they would have figured something out, bro. Cause that's a crazy team up for real.
Requesting a trade to the Los Angeles Clippers to team up with Kawhi Leonard, and once again, Russ was left to fend for himself in OKC. Before he got the chance to try to carry the team once again, he was traded to the Houston Rockets to once again pair up with former Thunder teammate James Harden.
I think this is when it started to go downhill. I don't think he had a bad season with the Rockets, but I just think he went from the Rockets to the Wizards. That's a lot of I know, NBA teams, every NBA team is good, but in NBA terms, I think that the Rockets and the Wizards were playing pretty low quality basketball when he was over there in NBA terms. So I think that this was like the beginning of when it actually started, because going from 2 low quality teams to a high quality team like the Lakers, it's a big difference. You're playing with players that don't understand the game as well, to playing with guys like LeBron. Rondo was on that team, high basketball IQ guys. Davis. You're playing with high basketball IQ players again. So I think that definitely was a factor. The beginning of the fall off.
It's honestly crazy to think, looking back on it, how many superstars Russ has played with. I mean, come on. Kevin Durant, Paul George, James Harden, and we can't get 1 ring, Russ? So we'll pick it up.
Damn, why are you taking shots at bro? What the fuck? He's not the only one who's played with superstars and hasn't won a ring. Motherfucking uh um fucking
A deal ended up sending Westbrook to the Rockets for Chris Paul, 2 first-round picks, the 2024 and 26 picks, and also 2 pick swaps, 2021, 2025. Many believe that this new duo of Westbrook and Harden would dominate the league.
James Harden. Yep, I was thinking about this whole time. James Harden played with superstars. You know, he played with Westbrook. He played with Durant, Kyrie. He don't got a ring. No disrespect to Harden though.
The two had accounted for the 2 previous MVP awards and statistically were 2 of the top players in the league at the time. Let's just say this did not pan out how Westbrook imagined. He was forced to adjust his game playing alongside Harden.
And that's another thing. Switching teams like this a lot. Every team has a different system, so you're gonna have to change up your game a lot. So that's another big factor.
Arguably the most ball-dominant player in the league at the time. At times, it appeared as if the Rockets' offense consisted of Westbrook and Harden just taking turns, going into isolation and attempting to score. Now, while on paper this might sound like a solid strategy, it did not work well in execution. Although they took down the Thunder in the first round of the playoffs, Houston clearly did not have what it took to defeat the LeBron James and Anthony Davis-led Lakers.
They had no structure.
In only 4 games.
They had no structure.
Many began to look at Russ as the problem. Throughout his career, he had relied on his athleticism to propel him to be one of the best in the game and never really worked on developing an outside shot. The Lakers took advantage of this and would simply just leave him.
Yeah, I remember this because the Rockets' play style is heavily centered around 3-point shots and layups and dunks and shit. They don't shoot a lot of mid-range shots. So, you know, Russ is definitely going to try to get in the paint more than take outside shots. You know, he could shoot threes, but he's not consistent enough to. I don't think he's consistent enough to fit into the Rockets' offense. I think this was definitely the first step at this was the first thing that took a shot at his confidence. I'm talking because I want to bring up another point.
He shot an abysmal 24.2% from beyond the arc in this playoff run and was promptly traded from the Rockets in the off.
Okay. I was thinking he was going to show a clip, but the Lakers, and not only the Lakers, I think other teams were doing it too, was whenever he had the ball, they were I seen clips, they were all the way back at the free throw line. I think it happened on the Lakers too, actually, yeah. Players were guarding him 2 or 3 steps back. Some were even backing up all the way to the 3-point line. And I think that was definitely the first shot at Russell Westbrook's confidence because it really exposed him. You know what I'm saying? And you know how social media is. They got on Ben Simmons for that shit. They gonna get on him for that. You know, I think that was definitely the first shot at his confidence. And you know, playing. I feel like that wouldn't have happened before. During his MVP season, he had all the confidence in the world. Right? He was pulling everything. He was going crazy. And people knew that his 3 wasn't consistent, but they were still respecting him. They were still respecting that shot because of how confident he shot it. As soon as, you know, you see somebody back all the way up to the free throw line and you miss 3, 4, 5 in a row, your confidence is going to go down. You know, now it's all over social media. Now every NBA team is playing you the same way. Now that's what brings your percentage down. And I'm not saying it happens to everybody, but some people, it definitely affects them, and it's hard not to let it affect you. You feel me? Especially when you're on the biggest stage in the world. You know, the entire world is seeing this. So I feel like this was definitely the beginning of, I don't want to say the beginning of the end or the beginning of the fall off, but it was the beginning of the dip in his stats. I'll say that.
Off season. So now we're reaching the point where Russ is pretty much getting passed around by teams because nobody wants him. But the deal
Damn, this nigga kind of taking shots at Russ, bro. I don't know how I feel about that. What the fuck?
Sending Westbrook to the Wizards, and in return, they received John Wall and a 2023 lottery projected first-round pick. Both Wall and Westbrook were ready for a change of scenery, and Russ was still teaming up with another all-star caliber player in Bradley Beal. On the Wizards, Westbrook would embrace a bit more of a playmaking role, and throughout the regular season was looking like he made the necessary adjustments to his game over the offseason. He averaged 22.2 points, 11.5 rebounds, and a career-high 11.7 assists.
Like this right here, these are good numbers. Like these are not fell-off numbers. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that he's playing on probably the least what's the word I'm looking for? The least commercialized NBA team. So people aren't seeing this. You know what I'm saying?
Assists per game. Along with this, he would have his best shooting season from 3 since his MVP season. While it was still below league average, it was a step in the right direction to say the least. With Russ and Beal at the helm, the Wizards would make the playoffs. However, Westbrook would once again lose his outside shot and his team crumbled as a result of it. They were eliminated by the Philadelphia 76ers in 5 games, and Westbrook shot 33.3% from the field and 25% from 3 in the series.
Damn. So there was a little dip at the end, but I don't feel like his season with the Wizards was bad. I think it was a good season. It was a solid season. Rock bottom. I wouldn't say it's rock bottom.
So in the following off-season, Westbrook ended up getting traded once again, this time to the Los Angeles Lakers. The deal sent Russ to the Lakers, and in return, Washington received Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and the 22nd overall pick in the 2021 NBA Draft. Now this would arguably end up being the worst stop of Westbrook's run of new teams. While many thought he would create...
I would say this is definitely his worst. This was definitely his worst team. But again, I don't think it was a bad season. I mean, it was a bad season in terms of Russell Westbrook, right? But in terms of just the average NBA player, I don't think it was a bad season.
Create a big three with LeBron and AD, the trio would be absolutely terrible together and struggle with court spacing. Some believe the Lakers limited Westbrook and did not allow him to play his style of basketball, and there may be some truth to this. During his time in LA, he played his best coming off the bench, where he could control the offense.
I wouldn't say it limited his style, because his style wasn't working. You know, the truth, I'm trying to say it as unbiased as possible. The truth is that he did fuck up the spacing. You know, the fact that he wasn't shooting consistent from 3, it definitely fucked up the spacing. And I was watching some games live. I was watching film on the Lakers, and there was certain possessions where like the Lakers couldn't even drive because like Westbrook was on the 3-point line and his defender would be standing in the paint. So LeBron or somebody would try to drive in, and he'd be running into like 2 or 3 people because you got the help defenders, and then you got Westbrook's defender right here while Westbrook's out here, you know, and like that was definitely a big problem. So I wouldn't say it limited his style because his style wasn't working. Like the shit just wasn't working.
However, with him being the highest paid player on the team, it made no sense for him to be coming off a bench and to remain on a potential.
I didn't know he was the highest paid player.
In his year and a half with the
That's
team,
wild.
he would average 17.4 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 7.2 assists.
Like, these are not bad numbers. These aren't bad numbers.
While shooting 43.4% from the field, 29.7% from 3, and 66...
Alright. These are bad percentages. The stat, like, these... His actual, like, per game stats aren't bad, but this is definitely a problem. And this is, as a point guard, you cannot be shooting in the 60s. You shouldn't even be shooting in the 70s. If you're a point guard, you should be shooting 80% or above. So this, I definitely see the problem with this. He has to be more efficient.
The Lakers missed the playoffs in his only full season with the team, and since trading him, they have worked their way back up in the standings. Allegedly, there were also some locker room issues during his time with the team.
I did hear about that.
Lakers fans treated him terribly.
Yeah,
it was very
tell you,
that
that's bad for your mental health, bad for your mental confidence, bro. Your own fans are talking shit about you.
Move needed to be made, and
that's
for
tough.
the 4th time in 5 seasons, Westbrook would once again be traded. This time he ended up on the Utah Jazz in a 3-team deal between the Lakers, Jazz, and Timberwolves. Along with this, the Jazz received Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones, and the Lakers' 2027 first round
I swear I've seen 25 niggas in my life that look exactly like this.
pick. The Lakers ended up receiving D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared
I met D'Angelo Russell one time when I was in like 7th grade. He a cool ass dude.
Vanderbilt, and the Timberwolves got Mike Conley, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and 3 second-round picks. Soon after the trade, Russ would be waived by the Jazz and sign a deal with the LA Clippers.
Where does Westbrook's career go from here?
Now, although he hasn't been on the Clippers for too long, Westbrook seems like a solid overall addition to the team. If he can continue this shooting streak, it will be his best stretch from 3 since his MVP season. Many believe that he's been given an appropriate role, and things ending as poorly as they did with the LA Lakers may have fueled the fire that Westbrook needed. Time will only tell, though, if this is simply a hot streak or a sign of things to come for Westbrook on the Clippers. The team is currently playing to lock up a playoff spot. In past seasons, the shooting has slumped in postseason play. It's going to be very interesting to see if this trend is going to continue this season.
What is his
I think
legacy?
regardless of how the rest of his career plays out, Westbrook is still going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer just for the pure fact that he averaged so many triple-doubles. At his peak, he was one of the most talented players the game has ever seen.
Absolutely.
He currently has 9 All-Star appearances, 2 scoring titles, 1 MVP, 2 All-Star Game MVPs, 9 All-NBA appearances, a spot on the NBA All-75 team, and ranks first all-time in triple-doubles.
This is a great resume right
As
here.
his athleticism
That's a Hall of Fame resume.
began to leave him with age, he clearly didn't make the necessary adjustments to remain a great player in the league. While it's not too late for him to get an outside shot that could save his career, there's really no sign that this will ever happen. Ultimately, his struggle from three-point range made him unplayable in the postseason as a key player on a contending team, and ultimately led to the downfall of Russell Westbrook. Let me know if you guys agree in the...
I think another thing that, I don't know if he mentioned this or not, but I think his age definitely plays a factor. You know, you getting older, he's not as quick, he's not as athletic, and that was the main like part of his game. He was relying on athleticism and stuff like that. And take a look at D Rose, you feel me? I'm not comparing the two. I'm not trying to say, like, you know, I'm not trying to do anything like that, but D Rose, he he went through his knee surgery and everything. He couldn't be as athletic, he couldn't play as explosive, so he focused more on the skill side of thing. He got a better shot, he worked on his handles, all that shit, and he found a way to elevate his game, and he kind of changed. He almost like pretty much changed his whole play style, you know, and he's been successful. He hasn't been the same MVP D Rose, but he stayed in the league, you know, he stayed relevant. He's been playing at a elite level. I think that Westbrook definitely has to make some changes to his game. I think that he can't rely on his athleticism like he did before. It's not working out. I think he has to work more on the skill side of things, like D Rose did. But this was a great video. For the most part, I feel like it was pretty unbiased. I feel like he brought up good points. I'm glad we got to see the stats. That was one thing I did want to see. I wanted to see real numbers, not just random clips or opinions or nothing like that. I want to see facts, and we got to see that. I feel like all these takes were pretty fair. I feel like this was a good video. If y'all want to talk about what y'all think is going on with Russell Westbrook, let me know in the comments. And other than that, I'm glad to be back on YouTube. Please, all of y'all stay positive. All of y'all stay positive and stay fighting for your goals and your dreams. You feel me? I will see y'all in the next video, and thank y'all so much for watching this.